Well, I'm not going to lie, that is not in great shape. I've been working on the Versa some more. Got the engine out yesterday. Today I was kind of just cleaning stuff up. Got all the grime off of the rad support in the front frame here. Not just like detailing it, I'm trying to find where there's issues, rust that needs to be fixed up. It's not bad. Definitely some spots are a bit worse than I thought, but for the most part it's pretty solid on like the frame rails or unibody, whatever it is. The big thing I've been working on tonight is trying to get this subframe out. The bolts and fasteners are all crusty, rusted, and everything. I don't know if I would have been able to do it without impact. So it's all out now. It's all ready to drop down, pretty sure. Well, I'm not going to lie, that is not in great shape. Nor is that part of the car. So it's been a couple of months now since I've done any real work on this car. That's why you got to label all the electrical connectors that you take off. Last time I was working on it, I pulled out the subframe and noticed that it and where it went into the car was a little bit rotten looking. It's, I'll be honest, not good under there. I found a patch of rot in the floor, which pretty much makes this car, on its last legs. So instead of doing all sorts of cool stuff with the engine and whatnot, I'm just going to throw it back together and get back to being able to drive it because well, I haven't had it on the road for a couple months now and it's not getting any less rusty. So let's take a look at what's been going on, since I think it was March was the last time maybe I was working on this, March or April. I've done quite a bit off camera and it's not been very interesting to look at. So we'll show you what has been done. So if you remember, when I pulled the subframe out, everything was rusted out and just looked pretty terrible in general. The bushings here that connect the subframe to the chassis of the car were completely done. They were just non-existent. So that was why I wanted to pull this out. You can feel the car kind of drifting a bit on the road because of that. But now they have nice new bushings in there. I had to press them in. I bought some inexpensive presses from Amazon. Got the job done. Had to heat up everything with the torches at my dad's shop to actually get them out. It was a bit of a bear, but it's done and it took, some time. Got new sway bar bushings in here. Again, this is all going to help with it not wandering down the road. Didn't really do anything to the steering rack, just kind of cleaned everything up, took the grease off, checked out the inner ball joints, seem pretty good, or so the inner tie rods seem pretty good. No play, so if need be, we can get it aligned and not have to go through any additional cost. And I got new, connection points between the subframe and the chassis. Spent $21 on the bolt that goes through that. Dealer only item from Nissan. It's nice. Yeah, I got new tie rod ends and everything for this, but I'm going to put those on after it's on the car because I need to break the jam nut loose right there. And that'll be a lot easier with it connected to the spindle. Yeah, you might notice there's a pair of caliper brackets here. Pulled these off. This is the one that came off of it. This slide is completely jammed in there, so I got a pair from the scrapyard. They don't look much better, but they certainly move more freely. I mean, they move at all. So I'm gonna clean these up and put these on when I, reinstall the brakes. Got new brake parts there. Anyhow, I guess it's time to kind of try to fish this into the hole from whence it came, and that's going to be a bit of a challenge solo. So this is going to be a bit tricky. I've got to get this shaft up in here and into the lower portion of the steering column. It was a pain in the butt to get out, and I had gravity on my side that time, so I don't think this is going to be a whole lot of fun. You got the jack set up here. Hopefully this will help me a little bit. I'm not having to lift it all the time, but floor jacks aren't the most precise lifting instruments. I don't know. Trying to line up 3 different points at once is underneath, I guess, like directly behind the where the steering box is going into the passenger compartment is where the bushings sit on either side, and we've got to line those up as well. So this is going to take some doing. The subframe's all in now. Got everything torqued down. The expensive bolt into the subframe, or into the chassis rather. On the other side, the connection point is through the control arm. So I will get to that when I replace the new parts. I've laid everything out that I have ready to put back on. New brakes, new sway bar end links. The brake calipers, or brake caliper brackets that I fixed up, they slide nice and free now. Used the wire brush on the bench grinder and lubricated it and put new boots and new rubber parts into it. So everything is good to go. I have a whole pile of parts laid out on each side, all the old stuff for reference. So now it's just a matter of putting everything back together. This is the fun part. Well, everything's back in place now. Got the new brakes installed. Actually, nice pads, and the brackets fit in the shims or whatever. They're fitting quite nicely. Sometimes I find they don't fit the best. New disc on there. I ended up replacing the hub on this side as well. I had one. I bought a 2-pack before, as well as I bought an extra ABS sensor because there's no way that thing comes out nice. I bet even now, if I tried to take it out after like being in there for a week, I'd probably have to punch it out with a pin punch or whatever. I think I'm gonna maybe not change the tie rod ends. I'll take another look. There wasn't really too much play in them. My thinking at the time was just replace everything since this was going to be a bit of a project. Cleaned up the struts and whatnot, didn't replace those, just gave them a bit of paint and some rust treatment. But yeah, if there's no play in the tie rod ends, I'm not going to bother changing them because then I don't have to really worry about getting an alignment. Technically probably should anyway, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Anyhow, everything is really coming back together nicely. Had the foil out there. I was covering stuff up while I was painting when I still kind of cared about things. Fixed some rust and some scratched up paint. Shouldn't be so negative. It's a fine car. It'll be safe now for me to drive, the kids are out and stuff and go to work. But I'm a bit disappointed that it was kind of rotten because I really wanted to have some fun with it. But it's just not worth it. So back over to this side now, I've got to kind of do the same stuff I did over there. Just put all the new stuff back on. But I don't think I'm going to film that because I've already done it once. And there's not really a whole lot of room between the car and the wall on this side. Anyway, I guess once this is all back together, we'll turn our attention back to the engine.